So let's go over what has been going on in Destiny 2 with the Season of the Wish and these Wish tokens. Now, Marsolv has this quest line that gives you these Wish tokens. The Wish tokens, you can go in here and you can end up buying the raid weapons. Now, the raid weapons are, in my opinion, some of the most sought after, especially like the Apex Predator or anything. But let's start off with the supremacy and let's go over apples to apples instead of apples to oranges when people try to compare these raid weapons being sought after and what you're going to be end up looking for when going for the perfect role, right? So the supremacy is a rapid fire kinetic weapon. So apples to apples, comparing it up, if you were to get this crafted supremacy and you're going to end up putting it in your loadout, how are you going to kit it out? You may want to end up going with arrowhead break. Maybe that does or does not matter to you. You're probably going to end up wanting to go with ricochet rounds and rewind rounds and bait and switch. So that is what the minority, not the minority, but the majority of everyone is saying, hey, get this gun to do that. Or you may be looking for a more stable DPS, and that way I would go with Focus Fury. But if you're not confident in hitting your shots, I'm going to suggest a Vorpal weapon type role with the rewind rounds. Now, the 40%, the 20% damage buff that Vorpal gives you is more consistent. The 30%, I want to say that Focus Fury gives you is, again, more consistent than the 35% bait and switch. Now, Focus Fury maybe 20%. I may have just read that too quickly on how that goes about. But the Vorpal weapon, the rewind rounds, and having a good recoil direction for that sniper rifle is going to be optimal for your playstyle with the supremacy. Now, the supremacy does have, I want to say, a more zoom. Now, let's get out the distant pull. This is also a craftable weapon that you can get in the helm. We're going to go ahead with arrowhead break again. Now, we're going to go with accurized rounds to give it that increased range, because playing with a distant pull, that range is lacking when you end up using it. Now, you do have the triple tap here, but you could also go with a overflow. Overflow is going to overload your magazine once you pick up special ammo for it, so you don't have to really worry about reloading, right? So that's what we're getting with the rerun rounds, right? That means I'm not going to mess that up to this whole thing. So you can go with that, but I want to use this for PvP and PvE, so I go with the keep away. So that does give me that increased range, and I also go with the Focus Fury. You could go with the explosive payload, or if you are doing the whole creating void breaches and the fire sprites and the strand whole kit there, or stasis crystals, you can go with collective action if you're doing that much. But I do like the Focus Fury and the keep away to give me that range, to give me this ability to hit my targets. So if you're focused on stability and you try to go with the stability rounds, you're going to still feel that 35% range. So again, you can change up your barrel perks, you can get your range back, but at the sacrifice of handling, you're going to be really feeling that when you try to pull, when you're going to try to switch to a distant pull. Now, we have the supremacies on board. We got the ricochet rounds, we got the Focus Fury, ricochet rounds for weapon, and the steady rounds with the Focus Fury, keep away, distant pull. And you're going to see that the range and the stability and the handling, just about all across the board, the supremacy compared apples to apples. If we compare rapid fire to rapid fire, what's going to take that slot, you're going to see the supremacy is going to come out on top 9/10 of the time. And that's for good reason. The supremacy is, in this case, the better sniper rifle. Now, if you're not comfortable with using sniper rifles, you don't have to go for this role. You don't have to go for that gun, right? But again, we're going to go over all of the weapons here. So the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration, high impact frame, scout rifle. And before we get into the nitty gritty, this thing absolutely sucks, but I'm still going to go over it. So I have a Transfiguration drop, right? You see in D2 Gunsmith, but I have one that has rapid hit, kill clip on it. Man, this thing is trash. This thing does not feel good. Look at the stability. Look at the handling, the reload speed, all that. It's trash. This thing is absolute trash across the board. If you go for any weapon, don't go for this one. I mean, maybe a keep away roll, something. I don't know. I don't know what would save this. Blessed with holy water. I don't know. Do something different. I would have went for a guiding sight if I was trying to get this, right. You get the arrowhead break. You get the steady rounds on there. You can get the rewind rounds or whatever, but you're not killing stuff fast enough with this gun. I don't even know what the TTK on this thing is, but it's not good. It's really, there's not enough bad words that I could say about the Transfiguration. It's an absolutely beautiful gun, but again, it's just bad. Like, even if I had one with the keep away and I don't know, even kinetic tremors, there's so many other better guns out there that could do kinetic tremors, that can do explosive payload, that can do kill clip. I wouldn't put this on or go for this weapon at all. The Transfiguration, it just, when you shoot it, it feels like it should be shooting as a rapid fire. It feels like it should be shooting as a lightweight frame. It should be anything other than a high impact. Maybe high impacts just ain't got no love, but if you've probably been killed by more guiding sights than Transfigurations, or even maybe even a scholar. But this is what you want to go for, the Imperative. The Imperative is the gun that you can go craft right now. It looks butt ugly compared to the Transfiguration, but as far as perks go, you will end up putting more bullets down range. You'll be in sixes. You'll be near your allies to get that nano munitions with it, right? So we go with the arrowhead break. We go with the steady rounds. We go with the keep away, and also you can get opening shot and explosive payload on this weapon. Now, again, my camera's not zoomed out enough, but I do a lot of pointing with my hands. I'm pointing at the screen for this explosive payload keep away, and that's really good because you're going to be shooting from so far away. Your damage fall off is anywhere between 40 to 83 meters, and I don't know when you're shooting 83 meters at, but let's say 40 meters. Again, you're kind of still in like hand cannon territory there. Hand cannons reach out to about 33, 35, and just, again, apples to apples for the Imperative and the Transfiguration. Playing with both of these weapons in game, the Transfiguration is booty cheeks. It is ass clappingly bad, and just a hot sweaty yoga workout with no shower afterwards. And the I think it's called the Adorative. That scout rifle is just going to put in work with the keep away and the explosive payload. That's just a good combination there, and it can be enhanced. Now, the Apex Predator. The Apex Predator, everyone's clamoring about the Apex Predator. Apex Predator, adaptive frame. It's got explosive lights. It's got reconstruction on it. It's got bait and switch. It's the highest DPS in the game. Next to that strand one that you can get with the slight shot and surround it. And I got that one too, and I've used it, and it's harder to use than what most YouTubers make it out to be. Sliding and shooting and sliding and shooting. It's a whole gathering for shenanigans. There we go. That's what we're looking for, shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans with that. So we kit this out. We kit this out, and we're trying to get the extra velocity. We're trying to get the extra blast radius, but something's got to give, right? When we go with the reconstruction, we can end up getting more rounds at our disposal. It's going to keep building up. I want to say up to 2 rounds, I think. And then you have the consistency of the Vorpal weapon, and then you have Surrounded, where you can get that extra 40% from Surrounded. Bait and switch is going to give you 35%. Now, for most content, what are you using the Apex Predator for? Are you using it for ad clear? Are you using it for DPS on a boss? Mainly, you're going to be using it for DPS on a boss. So, I'm going to go with increased blast radius, impact casing, reconstruction, Vorpal weapon with a boss spec on it. And that's going to give me all the damage that I need. Bait and switch, if you can pull it off, fantastic. But I can't just do the flipping and the switching and the shooting of the gun and the shoot, the switch. It's just too much. I just want to pull the trigger and just keep doing DPS. Now, if you got a good hothead, you got a good hot head. You grinded for it when it came out. You played that corrupted Nightfall mission, and you banged your head against the wall. And you have the auto loading holster, exploding light, clown cartridge, revolver weapon. There's too many good rolls on this. Besides the lasting impression, if you got the lasting impression one, I'm sorry, but you can get adept mods on this. Now that's going to make up for a little bit of the damage that you're going to be lacking when it comes to putting bullets down range compared to the Apex Predator. Now, if you got a good hot head, you don't really need to go get chasing the Apex Predator. The damage between the two is about, I don't know, I'd say about 10 to 7,000 versus the bait and switch and the hot head roll. But if you got a perfectly kitted out hot head, if you got a very good Apex Predator, like just to kind of drop, and you want Apex Predator like that, you can't go wrong with getting with Hothead and the Apex Predator. It is, if you got one, good. If you don't got one, then you're gonna need one of the two, because adaptive. If you do end up getting the, I want to say it's called the Crux Determination. I think that's what that with that rocket launcher is called, right? Drew a blank on what I was actually talking about. I'm talking about rocket launchers here. So I want to say it's a Crux Determination and Crux Termination. I'd say Crux Determination. Crux Termination. But it's an aggressive frame. You can't really compare an aggressive frame to an adaptive. It's too big. The aggressive frames do more damage, hands down. I want to say that's been proven in game. Now we got Chatter and Bone. Chatter and Bone is a fantastic pulse rifle, but Chatter and Bone needs a lot of help. It needs a significant amount of help that other lightweight frames kind of don't feel. So the Chattering Bone and the Arrowhead Break doesn't even put it at a 100% recoil direction, so you're still going to be feeling that. And it doesn't end with a 5. You're going to be leaning a little left, a little center, a little right. You're going to be leaning all over the place. So you're going to want those ricochet rounds to get you that extra range because it's a lightweight. You have opening shot, and I just remembered that I'm choosing the wrong Chattering Bone. That's the wrong Chattering Bone. Let's look at the right Chattering Bone. So the proper Chattering Bone, let's get the Arrowhead Break, right? Let's go back with the steady rounds or the accurized rounds, right? So I picked the accurized rounds, and it does have the Keep Away and it does have the Head Seeker. Keep Away, Head Seeker combination after Head Seeker's been buffed. You can't really knock that combination. You can't. What are you using the pulse rifle for? That is another good question that you should ask yourself for. Am I using this pulse rifle for enhanced boss DPS, or am I using it in Crucible? If you're using a Crucible, the Keep Away Head Seeker is a no-brainer. You can't go wrong with that. A Focus Fury Keep Away, not too bad either if you're doing a fight against orcs or something. The Rampage, you can get Rampage Kill Clip. That's 2 damage perks on the same weapon, so you can keep your damage up. And the lightweight frames do see a bit of damage problem. If you're putting bullets down range, you're going to go up against a hand cannon. You are going to feel a little outgunned there. So with the Kill Clip Rampage combination that exists there, you can't really go wrong. But would I rather compete against a hand cannon, or would I rather just outduel him? The Keep Away Head Seeker is going to probably outduel him because you're going to have more forgiveness on that range with the Keep Away. Now the Battle Scar, you probably picked this up. It looks fantastic, but you can't knock this field tested. Defeating opponents, defeating targets, or dealing damage with this weapon gradually increases range, stability, handling, and reload speed. Field tested is underrated. Field tested is the thing that puts this gun in the category of comparison with the Shoot the Loot, with the kinetic tremors, with the Keep Away, with the Head Seeker. You got the Encore and the Head Seeker, and then you got the Encore with the, I want to say that's what is that? Like close to the end of the magazine, whatever that perk is called. I'm drawing a blank here, right? So this is all just live recording, going through this, right? I forget what that's called. Under Pressure? It's not Under Pressure, but regardless, it doesn't get quite a full 100% recoil direction, but again, That's not the best one on the list. This one right here, the Nightshade, is the best on the list. Arrowhead break, ricochet rounds. You got to keep away. You got a head seeker roll there. Now we're putting all these together with the keep away head seeker roll. But the Nadir focus, sustained fire, increases accuracy and stability for that weapon. The Nightshade can be got from Zavala. So if you've done a lot of Grandmasters, if you've done Master Nightfalls and stuff, you can get a Nightshade. A Nightshade feels okay now. It's not as good as its kinetic counterpart, but it's good. It's got an outlaw kill clip roll if you want to go back to the classics. You can't beat a classic. But that Nadir focus is putting it on a whole nother level of what it could actually do. I'm looking at my vault right now to read Nadir focus. Sustained fire increases accuracy and range for the gun. Accuracy and range for the gun. Now, putting it up against the Chattering Bone, the Battle Scar. I ain't no one talking about Stay Frosty. So, you got good range on the Nightshade. You got good stability on the Nightshade. It's fair. The handling is almost up there with the Chattering Bone crafted, right? We're talking about a crafted weapon versus a non-crafted weapon. Reload speed is okay. Aim assist is okay. The Nightshade is a RNG weapon, but if you kit it out just right, it will feel and be used better than Chattering Bone, in my opinion, because of the Nadir focus. The Chattering Bone only gets some increase on its stability and reload speed when you use a grenade. So it's not really like a passive type deal. It's more of a you can activate it when you want to. You can activate that skill on demand. But the Nadir focus, when you're in a gunfight, you're putting bullets down range, the Nightshade is going to end up picking itself up above the other lightweight frame guns. It's going to feel more like when Autumn Wind felt really good. I don't know what happened to Autumn Wind, but it kind of fell off a little bit. I don't know if that's due to the checkmate changes, or maybe I took it into checkmate, it didn't feel right. But Chattering Bone is good if you like lightweights, if you want that increase in speed, if you want that enhanced keep away, enhanced head seeker, you can build out a good Chattering Bone. Is it the one that I would be going for? I'm not going for Apex Predator. I'm not going directly to the Chattering Bone, even though both of those are fantastic guns on the surface. They look good. They kind of feel good. Chattering Bone does not feel too good to use. It feels like a really light gun when you start to try to shoot it. Now, moving it around with a hunter, I don't know. But playing it on any other class besides the hunter feels kind of like, whatever. But Nation of Beasts. Nation of Beasts is a wonky one when it comes to figuring out if you want to go for this at all, right? You hardly see anyone talking about it. They say it's a fantastic PvE gun, but look at all these 140s. All the 140s in direct comparison to this. Annual Skate, Ancient Gospels, Alu's Bane, Waking Vigil, the Cantina 57, the Palindrome, Exalted Truth. I can go on and on, but there's so much competition that this gun has versus all the other weapons here. We're not going to go over all these weapons here. I'm just going to pick out some of the few. But looking at the perks for Nation of Beasts, I put it up against the Waking Visual and the Exalted Truth, right? You're going to get Waking Visual 30 times out of 30 times playing the coil. We got a whole bunch of time left in this season. You're going to get Waking Visuals. Nation of Beasts, I don't know if you should really go for it unless you really want like a Volt Shot, Eddie Flow or something like that. The recoil direction on these guns aren't too bad, but Nation of Beasts, going for Nation of Beasts, it's like the two guns to not really go for, in my opinion, is going to be Transfiguration and Nation of Beasts. Nation of Beasts may put in work somewhere, but it ain't putting in that much work. It doesn't have the Swiss Army knife toolkit, right? So Perpetual Motion on Nation of Beasts felt really good, along with explosive payload. Now, if you want a Volt Shot, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Volt Shot feels a bit weird. You get the kill, you got to do the reload, you shoot the shot. If you miss the shot, you lose your Volt Shot. Volt Shot ain't working like the other ones, like destabilizing rounds, like Incandescent. Volt Shot should be like that. When you get the kill, it procs the thing. It should do that thing. That would bring Volt Shot back into the fold. It's not too strong. Now, when we go to Waking Vigil feels more like you're shooting, I don't know, like a Suros weapon. It's almost feels like a Suros weapon. And if you know Annual Skate and you know the Cantina 57, you know that making it feel like a Suros weapon feels really, really good. Now, we're going to go with the extended barrel, the ricochet rounds, the perpetual motion, and the kill clip. Now, this is going to help you out either PvP, PvE, both sides. The collective action felt kind of wonky. The Volt Shot, again, felt kind of wonky. The opening shot was cool, but it's a Waking Vigil and PvP. I don't know. Opening shot's not really helping you out in PvE. The rapid hit Dragonfly was like, okay, it's a bit niche. The shoot the loot Dragonfly was a bit niche. And just the reflexive actions I think that gives you increased reload speed or something with when you take damage while you have this gun out. It wasn't the business. Now the Exalted Truth, I can't say enough good things about the Exalted Truth. The Exalted Truth, Suros weapon, with the Alacrity, the One Quiet Moment, and the Compulsive Reloader. We're going to go with the Accurized Rounds. We're going to go with the Extended Barrel, the Outlaw, the Kill Clip. In my opinion, besides that kill rate roll down there seems like trash. But we're gonna look at it, why they want that combination. But Outlaw, Kill Clip, One Quiet Moment, Compulsive. I say Compulsive. I think it's called Suros Synergy. Alacrity. It's a very good feeling weapon, and that's because you could say maybe because that's a Trials weapon. It's a Trials weapon, Mangum. It's a Trials weapon. That's why it feels so good. The Slick Draw, Gunshot Straight, I don't know anybody running that combination. If they get that Exalted Truth, they probably dismantled it. You have the Killing Wind, feels good with Eye of the Storm. Even the Under-Over Repulsor Brace combination felt kind of good. If you bump into any Titan that wants to run over shields, you kind of put them down really fast. The Rampage Perfect Float, that felt good in PvE. Because you're in combat for an extended period of time, you're killing enemies, you're getting damage bonuses, you're getting flinch resistance, you're getting some airborne effects, so you can do some shenanigans by jumping around, shooting the enemies with better accuracy while not being flinched as much. When you're putting bullets down range, you're hitting your target and you're feeling good about it. But Outlaw, Kill Clip, Accurized Rounds, way better than all these Nation of Beasts, Perpetual Motion, Explosive Payload. If you got, I don't know, if you don't feel like raiding, then just go into Trials, get some engrams, take your L's. If you're not that good, use the engrams from Trials. Go get an Exalted Truth. Go get the Exalted Truth. The only other gun that feels as good as that, again, I'm gonna go off field with that, but the Palindrome when the Palindrome comes back, it is a different version of Exalted Truth in my opinion. Now the Techeun Force was kind of hard to review, as adaptives don't feel like they reach out and touch people as much as a Precision Frame does, and it doesn't feel like they come with that chunkiness like a high impact. I don't like high impact fusions to be honest. It takes too much to put into a high impact. But Techeun Force, it needs the arrowhead break. Now you can go with accelerated coils and end up giving you a faster charge time, knocking that charge time probably down to about a 540. But still, I want to say it needed this counterbalance mod on it, even after putting in the Accurized Rounds. And you got the reconstruction, you got the control burst. So if you're using it for boss DPS, cool. You can go ahead and throw a boss spec on it, and you'll be all right. But if you're using it for PvP, you're probably going to want Under Pressure. You're probably going to want High Impact Reserves. High Impact Reserves is the name of that perk that I couldn't think of earlier. But the Techeun Force crafted, if you like fusion rifles, it's not a bad gun to go for. The only other gun that I could put this against fairly, because on the far left column, right on the far left column, we have a bunch of barrel perks on the far left side, and The one that's better than it, the fusion rifle that's better than this, is the Timeless Vortex, and the Timeless Vortex still has scopes, so that made it a really big deal. Even putting on a stability masterwork for the Techeun Force and getting it up there. It's a fusion rifle. If you know how to use them, then you're good. But if you really don't know how to use fusion rifles, I mean, Techeun Force is probably not one that most are going to go for, but it's still good. Timeless Vertex, again, you can get this from the gunsmith when it pops up, when it rarely pops up, right? And maybe you'll get it in a drop somewhere randomly. That would be okay. That would be ideal if you ended up picking one up, or you have one sitting in your vault from a long time ago when Future War Cult used to do things like this. But we're looking at about a auto-loading holster, probably demolitionist roll for this, and then that way you can throw out your grenade, get your ammo back, put it away, go ahead, throw a boss back on it again if you're using it for boss DPS. But you can get the charge time down moderately low with the Timeless Vertex. Not as much as most. It's still going to feel like an adaptive. It's going to have a slower charge time. You're going to have to pre-fire it if you're doing Crucible shenanigans with it. But no backup plan is going to make it feel better. You can't get it enhanced or anything like that. Eventually, you know how Destiny does. Maybe Timeless Vertex will come back as a craftable gun that you can farm or something in the final shape, because they got to do something with these faction weapons that need a refresh, that need a perk combination. But the Dreambreaker, to my surprise, was the better option out of Techeun Force versus any other adaptive fusion rifle in its same class. Now you can go to the moon, you can go and farm Dreambreaker, and you can get under pressure, high impact reserves, but surrounded on a fusion rifle plus a boss spec or frenzy. Now this is before, like if you've been playing the game any moderate amount of time, you went to Warlord's Ruin, known there's a lot of ads in there. You go into King's Fall, you're doing DPS on the boss. You're not going to be using Dreambreaker on Oryx at the final fight, but you will be surrounded by ads sometimes when those thralls come up. You're doing Crota. I mean, Dreambreaker with Frenzy is going to be good for Crota. If you don't got Lament, you're not putting Lament out there. It's not going to blow you up with people being close to you. And the damage fall off for these fusion rifles are about 15 meters, but the Timeless Vertex will reach out and touch you in at ranges that you normally would not be hit at. So a good Timeless Vertex takes the top chart for Dreambreaker, Techeun Force comparison-wise. But as far as DPS-wise, Dreambreaker is, in my opinion, on par with something close to it's controlled burst without having all the control bursts going on there. It's more bang for your buck. You're doing Last Wish raid, you're using fusion rifles on the foot to cheese Riven. You're going to want a frenzy, you're going to want a surrounded roll for your fusion rifle. Dreambreaker I haven't seen in a while. It comes with a lot of good perks. It is a not too talked about gun. The dream weapons aren't really too talked about. We've had a lot of weapons that's come into the game and kind of replaced them, but some of those weapons are irreplaceable, and we need to be able to craft the dreaming weapons. So because that content is so old, it's so old, it's all the way back to the past. Now, my favorite weapon, the one I'm going to go after, I've been trying to get for a real long time, but I'm not really much of a raider, is the Tyranny of Heaven. The Tyranny of Heaven has a lot of competition going against it in its class. Now, again, I'm doing this apples to apples for lightweight, but when we're talking about bows, I'm gonna have to step off that pedestal for apples to apples, and you got the pre-Axtenics out there. Now that's all preference. You like pre-Axtenics, you like pre-Axtenics. It's got the wild card trait. You like Tyranny of Heaven, you like Incandescent. It's gonna be preference, fellas. It's gonna be preference on how you want what you're gonna be using. Did you grind all week for pre-Axtenics? I want to say that's what it's called. I keep saying pre-Axtenics, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, that bow. Let me look at my vault real quick. You can see the skills that I'm kitting out for the Tyranny of Heaven here to give it that lower draw time, and for what you're actually using it for. You're actually using it for skill regeneration. Are you using it for add clear? Are you maining it? Are you using it in PvP? It's got great options on both sides, so you can't really go wrong with the Tyranny of Heaven. But again, comparing it apples to apples, if you have a arsenic bite, it's going to be the best. It's old. It's old. I want to say it's the Arrival's old. If you got an arsenic bite, if you've been killed by an arsenic bite in PvP, you know arsenic bite is like, you're like, where do I get this from? How do I get it? Why hasn't it come back yet? Arsenic bite is good. We're going to look at that later. Now, the Lethophobia. Lethophobia feels really good. The Lethophobia has some good perks going about it. It's got some good niche synergies with Golden Tricorn. It's got some repulsive brace. The thing I use on it, I want to say, is the, what is it called? Let's go up. Steady Hand, right? Steady Hand is what I use for it, just to get that better handling on it. And then I think I use a quick access sling mod on it too, right? Going back to the days of hand cannon, bow, quick access sling with a grenade launcher, all that. But again, so we got Golden Tricorn. We have the Dragon's Vengeance. When an ally dies, or what is it? It went too fast, right? I can't keep up with what's going on the screen and what I'm actually trying to look at in real life, but It also comes with with Surrounded, but I don't know if you're really using Surrounded on a bow. So, Tripwire Canary, while I look for this stuff in my vault, Tripwire Canary is okay. It's not bad, it's okay. You may not like the big design of it, but it's okay. Ambush and Vest perk on it is whatever. Ambush is what I was looking for when I'm using the Tripwire Canary, because it basically grants a opening shot for a bow. So explosive head, dragonfly, it's okay. I'm still trying to find my perfect roll of Tripwire Canary. I was using it for a while, I'm not using it anymore. And I'm still looking for pre-Axness in my vault to make sure that is the weapon that I keep trying to talk about. Nope, not that one. I want to say that it is. So I'm pretty sure I have it on a character. It's just not on this character. But again, so Arsenic Bite, Rampage, Archer's Tempo with the low draw time. It can't be undersold. It's great. It's a great feeling bow. Feels good. All your shots that you shoot with it feel like they land, and the more you slay, the better it is. Again, you can go with a quick access sling on it. That's cool. You can get a handling master work on it, get it even faster. It's that Rampage that really sets it apart from other lightweight bows. Now, the age-old bond. The age-old bond. If you like high impact autos, you go for age-old bond. I'm gonna go for age-old bond, but the high impact autos feel like come to pass, right? We're gonna look at come to pass later, but age-old bond feels like that. Age-old bond needs a lot of love. It needs a good home. That's what it needs. It's age-old bond is the I don't know, the redheaded stepchild of these guns. I don't know who's going for this one besides me, but it needs dynamic sway. It needs extra damage, right? The time to kill on it just doesn't feel too good. What am I using it for? I don't know. I like the model of the gun. I like the sights of the gun. I don't know. I really want to craft it to be the only one in Crucible using the age-old bond, because everyone else probably got like a destabilizing rounds, repulsor brace type of roll, and it's just like, oh, it's doing good. You don't kill stuff fast enough with the age-old bond for repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds to come into effect. So Golden Tricorn would probably be good for it in that aspect, right? Because you're going to throw the grenade to get volatile rounds. Now, the Abyss Defiant Adept is going to beat Age Old Bond hands down every time. And if you're going to go for a high impact auto, it's going to be the Abyss Defiant. But let's assume you have an Abyss Defiant that is a regular one, because are you out there doing master rates? That's the real question. You out there doing master rates? Abyss Defiant regular, right? Abyss Defiant regular is almost like Age Old Bond, but Jesus Christ, look at that last column. It's got collective action, swashbuckler, incandescent, kill clip, sword logic, target lock. Jeez, it's got reconstruction on it. The gun looks good. The gun feels good. It's you got to go into the raid to get Abyss Defiant, right? That's why they ain't giving out wish tokens for Crota. You ain't wishing for that. You got to go fight for that. That is sword logic at its finest. Now, if you did an incandescent pugilist roll, that wouldn't be bad. If you're using it for ad clear, if you're using it for everyday activities, cool. But I'd be going for PvP. I'm going for reconstruction sword logic, and you got that curse thrall at the end too, where enemies die, they're gonna explode. That's not precision. I don't think that's precision kills. I think that's just deaths. They come up, they get run up on. You hit them with the Abyss Defiant, they die, and they got friends nearby. They're gonna feel that. Abyss Defiant just, I don't know. If I attack the Zen moment on there and that sword logic, my gun's not moving. It's a high impact laser beam that's putting down fire. And then I throw like a backup mag or something on it just to give it up to like 38 rounds, so I'm not running out, because I really want a reconstruction, but I don't. And you gotta pick and choose what you want. The heal clip, never get heal clip. I tried heal clip out. Heal clip don't work. I don't know why that curated roll down there's got heal clip high ground, but not good. Zen moment and sword logic is where we're gonna go with that. So if we're looking at Age Old Bond, we're looking at the Abyss Defiant. We got reconstruction. We got incandescent. We got Zen moment. We got sword logic. All across the board. Abyss Defiant is slapping Age Old Bond. Age Old Bond is for those who want it, like me. But Abyss Defiant, go into Crota's Raid, go farm that. I don't know what encounter it comes from. Go get that instead of Age Old Bond. Get Tyranny of Heaven. Get Supremacy, right? If you got guns to, if you got one pattern to get, I'd say get Tyranny of Heaven. You're not going to get many easy solar bows. If you have, if you like using snipers, DPS, go get Supremacy. If you got a good hothead, Apex Predator can wait. There's going to be a better rocket launcher coming out. You probably use hothead in most of, not hothead, but Dragons. You probably use Dragon's Breath for most of the time anyway. So Dragon's Breath Supremacy or Dragon's Breath Tyranny of Heaven. You can't go wrong. Here's Come to Pass. Come to Pass feels almost as bad as Age Old Bond. Come to Pass is absolute trash. And Age Old Bond, there's just something about it. I don't know if it's the perk pool. I don't know if it's whatever. People want it to be good. It looks good. It's got a good model. Feels good to shoot, but it's just bad. It can't kill. It can't kill anything. Yeah, it's a head scratcher on what they were trying to do with this gun. Maybe they didn't want it too strong. I don't know, but it ain't strong enough. But again, that's it for the video. Go for Tyranny of Heaven. Go for Supremacy, and don't get Age Old Bond. Don't get Nation of Beast if you don't want them like that. Again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This is a longer form video. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.